are guys, the final video in my 30 ways to fill a sketchbook series. I feel like there's so much to talk about today. I also have something pretty cool to share with you all, but first, to set the scene for this piece, I'm going to be painting a beautiful Icelandic waterfall landscape from a photo that I'll have linked below. Putting real effort in to get it as realistic as I can. I felt like this would be the perfect way to round things up, doing something that I love, which is landscapes, but also doing something that would take a lot of time and work and commitment. To get myself in the mood for this one, I actually went back to the very first video in this series. I can't believe that was about 3 months ago now. At the time, I was planning on uploading a video a day. I'd been struggling to create art and to be active in sharing photos and videos with you guys. And I thought if I set myself this challenge, I could jump right back in at the deep end, work really hard for a month, and then settle into 2017 feeling more disciplined and hopefully at a new level in terms of my knowledge and abilities in art. Obviously it took longer than 30 days and I'm actually really grateful for that. Over the last 3 months I feel like we've been on a real journey, all of us. I've loved hearing from you all, realising that we're all kind of in the same boat, all loving this art thing but also trying to do better. I never in a million years thought at the start of this that I'd end up being able to reach so many people. It still blows my mind that my videos could help to inspire anyone, and seeing how the community on this channel has grown and how open and how willing you all are to share your struggles and your encouragement, I can't thank you all enough. So 3 months later, did I reach my goals? I mean, I started this in a place where I didn't like anything I created anymore. I was lacking confidence in my abilities and my art just felt quite empty. There hasn't been a page in this sketchbook that I haven't thoroughly enjoyed doing. Not everything turned out perfectly, some things went completely wrong, but I can honestly say I do like all of it. In terms of becoming a more disciplined artist and content creator, I've worked harder in the last few months than I ever have on my art and my videos, and the weirdest part is that I really started to enjoy it. The planning and the editing, I even think I got better at recording voiceovers. Then the goal of trying new things and pushing myself out of my comfort zone and developing my art style, learning what I liked and didn't like. That's obviously a journey that never ends, but for now I'm definitely more secure in knowing the direction I want to take my work in. Even little things like, for example, I used to rely really heavily on brush pens to get forward a particular style in my work, and I was starting to find it quite restricting, not only in style but also in applicability. And throughout this series I've gradually found myself leaning towards finer lines, my plain old mechanical pencil, ballpoint pens, and finding my style starting to really shine through. My final goal was to begin to tell a story with my art, less of the superficial drawing because it looks nice. Not that there's anything wrong with that, I mean that's kind of the whole purpose of today's painting, but in general I wanted more reasoning behind things. I suppose I achieved that if the reason was to learn something and to push the boundaries on what I'm usually comfortable drawing. That's the reason behind the whole series, so I guess each page contributed to the purpose. My next step is to take things further and look at creating a meaning or a narrative for individual pieces. As I said in the first video in this series, I want my art to tell a story. So what's next? You can tell that these 30 ways videos have lit a fire in me to get creative when I'm already talking about the next series, but I feel inspired and I don't want to lose momentum, so I'm going with it. The new series is going to encompass a lot of the themes of this one. You guys have told me you like to see and be talked through the process, the trying new things and experimentation, and sometimes the mistakes and how you learn from them. So we're going to do all that. We're going to look at the journey from the birth of an idea through the development stages, the research and reference, experiments and thumbnails, the challenges that pop up, and all the bits that go into creating a finished piece every step of the way right from the start. Each episode will start with a prompt. The series starts on next Sunday and will continue every 2 weeks indefinitely. So I can't wait to start this new leg of the art journey with you all. Now back to this particular journey. The question I keep getting is, will I do a flip through of this sketchbook now that the series is over? And yeah, I absolutely will, but not quite yet. The sketchbook itself is only about halfway full. I was using it exclusively for this series, and now that we're at the final video I feel like I'm free to let loose in here and do whatever I want with the rest of the pages without worrying about messing up anything I've done so far. So you'll get your flip through just a little way into the future and with a load of extra stuff in there too. In the meantime, that brings us to the next topic I wanted to cover. This is so exciting. I've been waiting to be able to share this with you all. I've actually put together copies of this completed sketchbook, every page featured in this video series, compiled into a little book that you can own for yourself. I put a lot of work into getting it as true to the real thing as possible. I just thought it would be amazing to have something epic come out of this whole project, and I've honestly never been so proud of anything I've created. So these are limited edition. I'm only doing one print run of these. There are 100 of them available, and there will only ever be that 100. They're all signed and numbered, and I wanted to make them really affordable, so hopefully anyone can get their hands on one. This is a chapter in my art journey that I really want to remember forever, and maybe I'm being overly sentimental about it, but I really feel like I've come a long way, and the thing that's made that the most rewarding is that you lot have come along with me. Now at last I'll just talk a little bit about the actual painting process for this page. I started out by mapping out key areas of colours and tones with a diluted gouache to kind of act as an underpainting, and then I pretty much worked my way around the page in chunks with the general idea of painting darker areas first and then transitioning into light. There were definitely times in this process that I felt completely lost. I felt like I kept adding and painting and not seeing any progress, but I realised that once I started focusing again on chunks of shadow and tackling different tonal values one at a time, it started to all make sense again. All in all, I spent an entire day on this with a few hours of breaks in there. I'd say altogether I spent about 5 or 6 hours painting. It's the kind of thing that would normally be more stressful than enjoyable, just feeling anxious about getting it right, but honestly, I enjoyed every second of it, and I love the finished result. I hope you all love it too. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me ramble on and be cheesy. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.